Welcome everyone to another Universal Citizens Live Friday webcast. I am joined by my intrepid co-host, David Ellis. We are also joined by a very special guest today, Katherine Leah. David, Katherine, welcome to the show.
Hey, Andrew, what's up?
Oh, not too much. It's one of those very strange and unusual days. We had our conversation about global media yesterday. We're getting lots of people commenting, people laughing their butt off. But today we're going to delve deeper into the esoteric side. We're joined by Katherine Leah. Welcome to the show today, Katherine.
Thank you, Andrew. Pleased to be here. Thanks.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about yourself and get yourself introduced, and then we're going to jump in and show people, everybody, what it's like to have great, fun conversations.
Yes. Okay. So I am an RN, and I looked up to my aunt, so I became an RN. But before that, I knew that my body spoke to me, so I was in touch with that. That's really the only place that I was, really conscious. And so I was an RN. I did intensive care nursing, kind of the whole gamut with neonates. I also worked with adults, and so I've gone from the babies everywhere in between, pediatrics, all the way to working with the elderly community. So yeah, so I've really enjoyed that part of it, but I also have had my eyes open to other things. So
you do medical intuition, you discovered spirit. Tell us about how your journey got you into from RN into the medical intuition and spirit.
Yes, well, I just kind of kept following because I actually had this major awakening, and I was turned upside down, really. I had these body memories of something that was happening. So I really woke up, and it was during the demise of my marriage, and he wasn't there for me when I needed him the most. And so I was kind of on my own with it, but a lot of beautiful things happened, like 2 shamans came to talk to me. And when I was in the hospital, and so they came and said, "We're here for you." And so they were able to help me understand what just happened to me, because I was seeing my grandma, my great grandma that I knew when I was 2 years old. And they were telling me I was going to do the ancestral work. I had no idea what that was, but I do now. So I'm definitely a lineage holder.
Oh, those pesky ancestors. Oh, it's just lineage work. Oh, I know that one well too. Little did you know.
Yeah, so it's been kind of intense, and I was in denial, and I was done with that, and I just thought, I'm going to walk the beauty way. I'm going to walk this path of truth, only the truth for me. So I put my dream out, and I just kept walking towards my dream, my big dream, which never really wavered too much.
So I need to cut in here. Tell us about your dream.
My dream. My dream is to work with people to help them know who they really, really are, and to be able to help people awaken to their beauty and the wisdom that we have, and be able to help people understand our bodies speak to us, and all kinds of things like that.
What does awaken mean to you?
Oh, okay. Well, it's a process for sure. My awakening, I'm doing this work so that other people don't have to awaken the way I had to awaken. It was pretty intense, I have to say, because I didn't really have tools or anything like that, because I don't have a religion. I did ask for my mom and dad to drop me off at Sunday school so I could, you know, learn about Jesus. So that really helped in the moment of me, you know, having this intense moment in time where it was, yeah, there were some mischievous beings kind of trying to come in, and I had no idea what to do with it. I just sang Jesus loves me, this I know at that time. And yeah, so my husband at the time, he
I love that line. Was
not there.
My husband.
My
That's
husband.
hilarious.
Yes. So he was not there for me when I needed him the most. And so I had 2 little children at the time. And he basically, yeah, he had his own woundings come up when my woundings were all coming up. So he was not there for me. He really detached. And so I was there basically on my own, having to deal with things I had no idea how to deal with. And then that's when I had that psychotic episode, as they call it, but I see it as my major breakthrough or my major shamanic awakening, really.
And how old were you when that happened?
I was about to turn 40.
Wow. Late bloomer.
Yeah.
I was 9.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I had 2 little kids, 7 and a 3-year-old.
Ouch.
And yeah, and so I was kind of left to, well, I was actually at a dance class. I was belly dancing, and I couldn't concentrate because of, you know, the distractions of these beings trying to distract me. And my son had a camera, and my daughter fell through the balance beam, through the wall, and like all these things were happening, and I just couldn't concentrate, and I had to leave. And yeah, so that's kind of how it started. I waited in the car for them to come down. I kind of like knew that they were going to go to sleep. I just kind of, you know, willed that. And they did go to sleep, and I drove home, and I was left, you know, to have to kind of deal with it on my own. So it was intense. It was like, I wouldn't want to wish it on anybody what happened, but
how long did it take for you to say, I'm through the storm on the other side?
Well, that was, I think that was the process, but that very moment, you mean?
Yeah, well, no, in general, from the
okay.
point
In
that it
general?
happened that you
I'm in the 19-year window.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still going on?
No, well, you know, it's a process, right? But no, I think I've broken through in a way that I haven't. Yeah, there's beautiful things happening right now.
Katherine, how do you get these 2 sides of you, the clinician and the esoteric, to meld in your daily practice?
Well, you know, being intuitive and being a nurse, that's very helpful. And then having the experience of the circle of life and death, and recognizing that my soul is a rare soul of being an incubator soul. And so I've done that in this lifetime. And ethics is really big for my soul, as well as biology, master biology. So I kind of, you know, that's what lit me up. I really followed my heart always
Okay,
followed my heart, and everything kind of fell into place for the most part.
So
that break.
Does that cause friction with your colleagues in a clinical setting?
You know what? It's interesting because, you know, as I said, I was asleep until I had that awakening. But during that time, I knew my body spoke to me. So that was where I was conscious. And I was a traveling nurse. So I went from state to state. I was born and raised in Canada, but I went from state to state for at least I was supposed to be like 3 months I would sign on, but I always did 4 to 6 months. And so I'd go into intensive care, like trauma level 1 into intermediates. And then I would, have to kind of, hang by the seat of my pants sometimes, because I didn't know these doctors and what they liked and what they didn't like and whatever. But somehow I tuned in and I was able to do what I needed to do and focus and I never had one doctor yell at me or anything like that. So I think that that's where it was working for me.
Okay. So in a case, because I'm sure you would have had those cases, because you seem very sensitive. In a case where you have a patient, because there's ethics on the esoteric side and there's ethics on the clinician side, and they don't often come together. So we would really like to know how you navigate the two.
Well, it's really owning what's going on, owning and taking back my power and being responsible, and the ethics part. I mean, it's just kind of like it's my soul. It's who I am. It's really important for me to hold that loving space for people. Really, it's love. Love is, and I see people's hearts and souls. I just didn't know that was a a gift that I came in with. But I do now.
Understood. So, what is a typical coaching session with Katherine Leah like?
Okay. All right. So there's like a prep session so that you prepare with certain questions, and so that I have an idea of where you're at and what you want to work on and that kind of thing. And then I bring you into a cocoon like feeling where I just hold a space, and it's sacred. It's very sacred space that I hold. And I see the person in front of me as the master that they really are. And that's what I tell them. And I know their heart and I know their soul. And so they get it. 2 years ago, not so much, like their eyes would glaze over. But now that I've embodied my soul, as much as I have at this point, I notice that people that don't even know about coaching come in and they get it when I talk to their heart. They get that they know that they know that they know.
So you're really diversely trained. How do you synthesize all of these training techniques into one session and then overlay the esoteric aspect onto it? That's like a tall order. Do you do this naturally, or what is the...
It has become naturally through this experience and the process of walking the truth for 19 years. I have discovered that I've created this technology called Love Flow Energetics. And I use the energy work, and I also use my intuition. And I bring people into a cocoon so that they feel safe. And then I work with them from that place. So I'm intuiting. I know what they want to work on. I just have them get into their heart space. That's really where a lot of the work is calming their nervous system, giving them tools. And then I have a meditation that I give them that helps them get into that space so they can start practicing, because it's a practice.
You mentioned that you do a lot of trauma work. Now, is this body work as well, or is this like total hands-off trauma work?
Well, I most certainly have done body work, yes, because when I was 18, I became a massage therapist, the first one, the youngest in Toronto at the time. And so I did also skincare. So it was esthetician. I'm a master esthetician as well. So, and that's really what, you know, was like the guiding force for a long time, because I wanted my skin to be nice. So I didn't eat chocolate or, you know, sugar or all of those bad things back then. And so that kind of guided me. And my aunt was, that I look up to, was a nurse, and she was a psych nurse. And so I knew, and I was doing some cocktail waitressing in top bars in Toronto, and I was a disc jockey. And
you were a disc jockey?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So
did you have that?
School,
yeah, I did the DJ thing also.
Yeah, I was a disc jockey in a popular bar, and I got people's toes tapping while they were, you know, throwing the darts. And so yeah, that's kind of a fun thing that could, you know, take me on a different path here. But yeah, so I while I was learning to be a nurse, I was playing music and cocktail waitressing, and I recognized that just, you know, the attitude of the men, and then seeing some women that were, you know, they were single moms. I just didn't want to be in that space. So that's why I was really drawn to becoming a nurse, because I looked up to my aunt. And I basically just got myself in because I called when school had started, and I said, look, I want to be a nurse. And they said, okay, what's the reason? I said, well, you know, and I gave them the reason. They said, okay, you start tomorrow. So that's how I got into nursing.
Okay, I'm gonna throw you a bunch of shall I say curveballs, and you can actually, let's start with the definitions of what is your idea of spirituality?
Spirituality. Well, for me, everything's sacred to me. Nature is what has always got me. That's the only thing that's really ever gotten me. So nature is real. The abundance of nature, the beauty of nature, and yeah, that's really what has always spoken to me. As a child, I was a tomboy, and I climbed trees and fish for minnows and things like that, you know, catch them. And you couldn't keep me inside. I was always outside playing baseball, organizing. So there was always something guiding me that has never been conditioned. It's never been mind controlled. And I was tapped into that through my body. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, I guess you did. The next question. What is your concept of healing? How do you perceive this? How do you promote it? How do you speak to it to your clients?
Yes. Well, I've been in healing for a long time. You know, I'd be in like spas and things like that as an esthetician as well. And so I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. So no, yeah. I could repeat that question.
Okay. Thank you.
What is your concept with regard to healing? Do you think healing is something that comes from within the individual and you coach it out of them? Or do you think that healing is a more bisymmetrical process between the therapist and the client?
I hold a space for them and I see them as the master that they truly are. Mm-hmm. And that's where I work from. And I let them know that that's who I see. And then I help them, you know, mm-hmm. unravel all of the mind stuff mm-hmm. and help them really see who they really are.
What are the typical barriers that you face to this process?
You know what? I haven't seen barriers since I kind of broke through. There's a lot happening, a lot of magic kind of happening right now, as far as that goes. The barriers, well, it was an interesting, you know, path really to be doing what I'm doing because, well, all right, so when I say that I want that, because I'll have teachers, I always have a coach because that's always really helped me move through. So I've always had a coach, and so they'd always say to me, you know, you need to just work with women. And there's this sense like, no, I'm not really supposed to be working with women, but okay. So then I tell the universe, okay, I'm working with women, and then they, you know, the universe would send me a man to hire me, you know? And so it was kind of interesting because that's just another, oh my gosh, I don't think you want to go down that path, but it was interesting.
Oh yes, I want to go down that path. Yes, I do. We certainly do want to go down that path, but just break for a moment. I'm going to throw this one out to the audience because I like to take these polls. First 10 people in the chat room. Do you think healing comes from within the client, or do you think that in a coaching scenario, healing is a bisymmetrical process between the therapist and the client? One or two?
That's a loaded answer, David.
Oh.
It's a loaded lawyer answer. That's what that is.
First 10. So we have bisymmetrical. You have one. Reconciliation. Oh, there's a third choice. Wow. Okay. Okay, let's see it. Okay. So you taking the toll, Andrew? Where are we at? We have within.
The thing is, there are some people who can't heal within. You need an external source to guide them to what within is, because they've completely lost what within is, what will be for them.
Mm-hmm. This is true. Yeah,
there's a lot they don't know what within is.
Mm-hmm. They've numbed themselves. Excuse me.
And they need an external healing so that they can go through a remembering of what it takes to be in, because they're out of their bodies so much.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that is the main thing that I work with people is helping them understand their own mind and how it's like a puppy dog. That's kind of how I put it. It's kind of like a little puppy dog. You know, it wants to protect you. It wants to be there for you. But if someone knocks at the door, it's going to bark. You know, it's going to bark. It doesn't know if it's your friend or your foe. And so it's up to us to command the mind and be in charge, because we've sent our sweet little minds out there to go figure it out, and they will never figure it out, these sweet little minds. And so you know, it's about calming that mind and saying, hey, you're safe and you're loved, and it's okay. Go lay down. This is my friend, and we're okay. And so it's bringing the body and mind safe again. That's my main work in helping people at first. Getting people into their heart space is most important.
Okay. The next question I have for you is a technical question more often than not.
Okay.
So it's an opinion question, and then we're probably going to throw it out to the chat. We'd like to get some audience participation here.
Sure.
Okay. If a client comes to you with issues regarding traumas from an early age, which they are trying to bury, not, and notice I didn't say heal, I said bury, because I've had this happen in my practice as well. Is it ethical to tell them we need to go there? Or do you assist them in burying it? Or do you recuse yourself from actually treating them?
That has never happened. Like where someone wasn't like really wanting to get to their issue, and we're open to anything. So but if someone did come in, I mean, I do know if someone doesn't feel that they need help, you just cannot help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. You just can't. So
what if they've come to you to bury the trauma, to help them assist? Yes, to help them not be in contact with them.
David, they wouldn't come to healers like us to bury it. We're uncoverers.
Oh my gosh, I just never even thought of that as being anything that could happen.
You see that happened to a friend of mine just a couple of days ago. Actually, I got it on Facebook. I said, oh, you know, when I was a hypnotherapist, people would regularly come to me to say to me, I have this thing that's happening. I wanted to remove the symptom. I just don't want to deal with it.
Usually it's a sexual function.
Correct. I want you to remove. Correct, exactly. Exactly. I don't want to deal with the cause, the initial sensitizing event. I want to deal with the symptom. Okay? I can't get an erection, as an example. It may be from something that has happened to you at an early age, but you don't want to go there because going there, you really don't want to go there. I don't know, you might have gone to Catholic school, who knows, right? So I can't get an erection. You want the erection, but you don't want to deal with it. So what does the therapist do? Does he utilize negative programming with regard to taking over the body's neural processes to produce the artificial erection, which is not coming from a place? And I say an artificial erection because if your body is not into the erection, then it is artificial. Am I correct?
Yes. That's why
Good.
so many men have.
But it is possible. It is possible.
Many men have premature ejaculation because it's a full erection.
Okay, so what is and Catherine, I know you haven't actually come across this, but I'm going to ask you. I suppose this is a technical question. Do you recuse yourself? Do you say you need to go there, or do you assist with the artificial erection?
Oh, I would definitely recuse myself and say that this was probably something for a therapist to work with them. And if they were working with a therapist and they were still wanting to do the work with me, then I would revisit that. Okay.
Revisit it in what way?
Well, if they, I mean, it would depend on where they were at with that. They were getting the help that they needed. And then just seeing how willing and open that they were to actually go inward and look at themselves, you know.
And because you do lineage ancestral work, you would be doing work that they wouldn't necessarily understand. Therefore, there could be an openingness to it just out of the sheer fact of unknownness to them.
Right.
I have encountered, David, people who have come to say, I want you to get rid of this stuff, specifically ghosts and demons that they created on their own. They're not external. They're their own self-poltergeist hauntings. Yes. And they know they created it at a young age, and they can't hide from it anymore.
That's true. That's true. Normally speaking, I would recuse myself and say that you need to come back when you're ready to deal with it. But I was actually putting it out there.
Yes.
So for me, it would depend specifically on the person. Like there are ways for intuitives to beat around a bush and still get the healing to come forward simply by beating the bush and waiting for the doves to fly out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes, and I mean, I could do a clearing, but you know, they bring it back if they're not ready.
See, that's why I created contract revocations, because clearings so often didn't last, no matter how much effort you put into them.
Right.
Because they live in the dirty energy underwear environment. They're constantly sharing the dirty energy underwear with everyone in their environment.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And until they learn spiritual hygiene, which is their own journey, doesn't matter what faith or religion is, everything's got its own way of, just brushing your teeth, washing your face. The same thing goes with your spirit.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, spiritual hygiene is definitely a big one with my kind of coaching.
Right.
Teach them how to run their energy.
That enough is enough for them to go, all right, I have to face this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but I hold a really loving space. It's not like I can't go deep with them in that way, because I can hold a space with them and go with them.
You mentioned earlier that you're, sorry, brother.
And just walk beside them as their guide,
Mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier, Catherine, that you had a partner who had his own wounds. There's a lady from Finland who just put it inside the chat that she's been trying to get her partner to face his childhood traumas for years, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
How would you get someone who cares about someone, because it really is their decision to make, whether they deal with trauma or whether they deal with the issues from childhood. How do you get someone to actually hold that kind of space so that someone is safe enough, from your practice, of course, to open up and actually deal and help with these traumas?
So it's a wife that's concerned about her husband and these traumas and wants to get him help. Is that it?
And he doesn't want to face them, correct?
And he doesn't want to face it. I just like what I've learned along my journey, because my husband, he was an alcoholic, and he wasn't ready to face it. So I learned very quickly that if someone isn't ready to face it, then you can't help anybody that's not wanting to help themselves. You just can't. It's just one of those things.
And the harder you try, the more damage you do to yourself.
Yes, I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I learned that, and I actually, when I first had, like before my shamanic awakening, I call it, I was just beside myself, and I have a stepdaughter, and she, I raised 3 kids that are free spirits, and he would hide behind my stepdaughter, and so it would always be like them against me kind of thing, And so I said, look, we need some help. So I reached out to a therapist, and he right away, well, actually the woman who was doing the triage had a talk with my stepdaughter, that this was not your business, and that you needed to step away. This was not okay, that this, was between her dad and I. And so that gave a lot of relief. And then it was set up for us to have a session with the counselor. And this counselor, I was all ready to, do what I needed to do. I knew that I was with an alcoholic, and I was ready to be, there with him. And so this counselor basically told him, look, if you want to go on a drinking binge, just, go off on your own for a weekend, and just don't do it around Kathy. So that's basically what he told us. That was kind of the therapy that he gave us. Mm-hmm. So anyway, and then when I showed up at like AA meeting, for spouses or whatever, nobody showed up. I sat in the hallway, and nobody showed up. So I guess I was supposed to kind of do this on my own, I guess. Although I wasn't on my own. I was never on my own. But anyway, that was kind of interesting to me.
Okay, so I suppose the next question I have to ask is, in a regular coaching session, you're going to find people that are partially awakened, you're going to find people that are fully awakened and receptive to everything, and then you're going to find these people who are not awakened at all. And how do you deal with the people who are still in that space where everything has to be very mechanical?
Oh, I'm probably not the coach for them. I'm probably not the coach for them because they need to have a sense that they're ready to claim their life and that they are willing to give up blaming other people and pointing fingers. You know, like I kind of have this map of, you know, different things. Like, are you ready to own your stuff and look at it? So I have that. I really work with people that are just ready, and I hold such a loving space. I see who they are. I see their hearts. I see their souls. And I hold them in that loving space where I know who they are. I know what they are made of. And I cocoon them in this beautiful space, and I guide them through processes, and we start to communicate with the inner child that's split off because of some trauma something. And I hold that space for them, and I help them gain access to their own knowing, because you are a master. You would not be here at this time on this earth right now. You just wouldn't. So that's how I talk to you. I know who you are, and I hold that loving space and that wisdom. And I just know that you're the master, and it's kind of an urgency right now for us to all, start to wake up to, oh, okay, I'm a master. All right, so let's explore this. Let's actually find out, about this. Who am I? Who am I really? We need to wake up and really start to love on ourselves and bring forth this new earth that we're already bringing forth. And I think someone that would choose me as their coach would be someone that's already having these knowings and actually can hear me right now. They just know. There's something about, and I can talk to people, because I worked for a company that was, at the top of the totem was the therapist, and then there were us coaches, and I would talk to them in a certain way where I knew who I could talk to in their heart space, and they may not have even known about a coach before, but their insurance had it, and their boss told them that they needed to come in, and get some therapy and some help. And so there I was, and I can talk right to their heart, and they get it. And this did not happen a year ago. Not like that. Not like just, and then they come along with me, and I can bring them through this wisdom and this love that I hold space.
Great. So everyone, I want you to go to your participants button, click on the 3 dots there, and go raise your hand, lower your hand, raise your hand, lower your hand. We're going to be taking calls here, and those that have their hand raised, we're going to be taking calls. We're going to open it up and do some conversation, intuitions, and letting people get Katherine, myself, and David questions. All right, Robert, let's spin that superior wheel of intergalactic callers and see what the universe provides us.
Alrighty, we're going way out there to the Galaxy S8. Galaxy S8, you are unmuted with Andrew and Catherine and David.
Galaxy S8, are you there?
Hi guys.
How you doing? Where
How
are you
are
calling?
I'm calling from Qatar.
Qatar.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to the show. What questions did you have for us today?
I'm really sorry. I just tuned in. Can you guys just let me know what y'all are doing? I'm sorry. I just tuned in.
Okay,
Well,
that's
we're doing
fine.
reading sessions here. We're talking about spirit and coaching and what it takes to be awakened.
Okay. This question is specifically for Andrew. In one of your older videos, I heard you speak about what sort of potentials people are. You can see what sort of potentials they're aligned with, their choices, their current life is aligned with. Could you tell me what sort of potentials I'm aligned with and how I could sort of level up?
How old are you?
27.
You have a lot of limitations from your family members living in Qatar. So really it's about being able to break away from your family so that you could have an unlimited energy.
I'm not from Qatar.
Huh?
I'm not from Qatar. I'm just living here.
Well, either way.
Hold on one second. You're from South India?
Yes.
Yeah, your family.
Kerala.
Yeah.
Kerala. Am I correct?
No.
Where's that?
No, I'm from the neighboring state, Tamil Nadu.
Ah, I recognize the accent well. Continue.
You're having a lot of limitations from your family, your mother and father, their mother and father. And until you're able to break out of the cultural limitations, so many of your potentials are limited to by what patriarchy has imprinted into you.
How do I clear that?
I think that's about you rediscovering what divine feminine means without a patriarchal misinterpretation or negative programming in it. And I think this is something that I want to bring Catherine to help you understand. That patriarchal program goes very deep sometimes and can greatly not help people grow at all. Catherine, why don't you give a jump in here?
Yes. Yes, right now it's we've been one-sided. There's the patriarchal society, the masculine, and what men and women are needing, and the call to action is to start to balance our masculine feminine. So it's the feminine that we have kind of squashed throughout the centuries. And it's the feminine that we all, men and women, need to start inviting into our heart space and starting to get to know who we really are from that space. And I really get that the earth is something that would really help you start to really ground in and start to really understand this within yourself, because you are a master. You just might not have woken up to that. So it's the earth, and if you can get your bare feet on the earth and you can go out into nature and connect your heart space with nature, nature will talk to you, nature will hold a space for you, and allow Mother Earth to come up through your feet and support you in this and love you. And you'll start to feel yourself coming into your integrity. You'll start to feel something opening up in you that's really lovely.
I do intuitive work, to balance the masculine and feminine. What else could I do besides nature works? Like,
are you
specific?
in any form of relationship?
No, I'm single.
And is it culturally limiting if you were to be in a relationship?
I mean, I pretty much do whatever the hell I want. So
now, but in the past, it was different.
I think I was depressed for a large part of my teenage, early 20s. Even now, I'm just beginning to, come out of it. So it was more related to that. Like, I couldn't handle everything else on my plate and a relationship. That's what was going on back then.
I would certainly like to chime in here.
Yes.
So, Galaxy S8. You're clearly not going to give us your name, so let's try something.
No, it's Shireen. It's Shireen. You can call me by my name.
What is your name?
Shireen.
Shireen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Shireen, you are from a neighboring state to Kerala, and you are living in Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so I do know something about each part of these regions of the world, and they tend not to support the kind of freedom that is in your mind. Am I correct?
Well, sure, but I think I've always exercised my individualistic freedom right from the start. So that's always caused conflict. But I mean, what can they do beyond a point? So sure, there was conflict, but I pretty much did whatever the hell I wanted.
Excellent. Okay, but it goes against your cultural norms. Am I correct?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay. Both of the cultures that you come from are patriarchal. Am I correct?
Both cultures?
Yeah.
Which other culture?
You're living in Qatar, and you're from South India.
I'm living in Qatar like just for the past 1 year. I'm going back home actually soon.
But where you grew up, it's patriarchal. Am I correct?
Sure. Yes.
So you are actually, Shireen, an anomaly. Am I correct?
I don't know. Is that a nice way of saying I'm weird?
No, that's a nice way of saying that you're an individual and you probably are quite unique from where you come from. Am I correct? There's a lot of people who like you where you come from?
Secretly, like.
I don't know, because for an example, this sort of spiritual work we're doing here, I don't really talk about it outside. So maybe that you could interpret as unique.
Okay, so balancing male and female energies. First of all, you might be geographically restricted. In that sense, 1 second, let me just develop this point here, okay? I really don't think that you necessarily have a problem, because clearly you are brave. I can tell, because you are brave. Okay, so if you were to create a space where you can explore masculine and feminine energies, and you wanted to embody these concepts inside your body, which is where the line that Andrew was going down. A relationship certainly helps, right? Theoretically, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to do it solo to yourself, there are a number of exercises which you can do. But you're in Kerala. Do you practice yoga at all?
I live in Mumbai, and I'm certified to teach yoga to people 18 and below.
Okay, so you're certified to teach yoga to people 18 and below. What is your
but
practice?
I don't.
What does your practice look like?
It's just hatha yoga, and I'm actually planning to get like a mindfulness certification done, because I think that would be helpful if I am going to teach kids. I think mindfulness would be maybe even more helpful than yoga.
Yes, but we're talking about your practice, your personal practice, not your teaching practice. So tell me, what does your practice look like?
My practice does not look like anything right now, because the past 1 year I've been in and out of Qatar. So I work like 12 hours, 14 hours a day. So, that's part of why I'm leaving. I'm going back so I can get some balance. But yeah, the past 1.5 years, my practice does not look like anything. It just looks like me stretching when I get out of the bed and stretching before I go to bed. It's a routine. No, I do yogic stretches, not like not lazy stretches, yogic stretches, but still, that's about it. It's like 10 minutes.
Okay, so like, what are the postures that you're using? What are the asanas that you're practicing right now?
I do downward dog pose. I do. I don't know what the English name is for this.
Give it to me in Sanskrit, please.
Sarvangasana. Triangle pose, camel pose, cat pose.
Trikonasana, Uttrasan. Go ahead. Next.
Trikonasas, yes, triangle pose, yeah. Then
go ahead.
and the one where you sit and you touch your toes. I don't know what that's called in English or Sanskrit. So
Padmasana.
Not Padmasan, where you don't bend your knees.
Padmasana. Okay.
Yeah.
The butterfly.
And yeah,
it's called a butterfly.
No, not butterfly. You sit at a right angle position and then you touch your feet. Anyway, so yeah, just like basic Hatha yoga poses.
Okay. So do you do any internal postures?
Internal postures? What is that?
Yes. Do you do any internal exercises? Do you do Kriya? Do you do any kind of purification exercises inside?
I used to do Jalniti when I was in Mumbai because it's so polluted. But that's about
you
it.
would have to, yes. So, all right. So you know the Mula Bandha exercise? You know Kapalbhati?
Yes.
These two exercises will raise the opposite. It will raise the opposite functions inside of you. For those of you in the audience who don't know what I'm talking about, Mula Bandha is basically root locking, and Kapalbhati is basically a kind of breath work. So you wanted to create balance. Well, it will certainly bring you into contact with the opposite parts of yourself.
Okay,
so Shireen, you might want to try doing that and concentrate on doing that for 5 minutes every day.
Okay, sure.
That will actually bring you more into contact with male and even female energies. The reason why I am suggesting that is because you can do it one of two ways. You could either do it the meditative way, as in the Raj Yogic way, or you can do it using Hatha Yoga. But since your path is Hatha Yoga, and you want to raise that kind of fire and heat inside yourself to create connections with opposites, these are the two exercises that you need to be doing, and you will come into contact very quickly with the opposites within yourself. But generally speaking, as a long-term measure, you might want to get back into practice.
Yes, that's priority number one.
Yes, you might want to get back into practice.
Yeah, I will. So,
can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
I sense this self-doubt within herself, and she's really got this. I can feel that the universe is supporting you, but it's like this self-doubt, and just acknowledging that within yourself is going to be really powerful.
Okay. This is self-doubt with respect to masculine and feminine, or in general?
I'd get more into your feminine, into your heart space, and just listen and allow your little one to talk to you from your heart space, and just trust the decision and claim your mastery.
Okay, sure. Yes, that's all.
Can I ask a probing question?
Yes, of course.
So how often do you experience male chauvinism or misogyny or outright sexism?
I think since I started working last year. Since I started working, it's definitely more open. Before that, of course, I don't know, in school and university level, I don't think in school and university level it was open, or even the people who were doing it were doing it purposely. So, there was that, but definitely the last 1 year has been hard.
I think it affects you a lot more than you're willing to say.
Sure. I'm an HSP, so I think everything affects me more than I'd like to admit.
And I think that you should look at this next part of your advancement, because I think there are a lot of energy vampires that can walk into your energy field and one comment and walk away with some of your core energies.
Okay.
You got to learn to solidify your energy so that people just can't walk in and take a bucket of your energy.
That's happening right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, your energy field's like a fly screen. It's like so many holes in it, it's ridiculous. And yet you think it's a solid wall, but things can just walk right through it.
How would I go about solidifying it?
First thing first is you gotta have a suck it up moment and say no energetically. David, your relationship, we related a story about a Swami who you had to turn the energy differently. And I think this is a very similar concept where she's got to learn how to solidify the walls of energy so people can't just walk into her field.
Okay.
How would I do this? Etheric technology? I mean, I do work with etheric technology when I work with myself.
Let David explain it to you because he's going to have words you'll get.
Okay. So you're aware, are you constantly concentrating on, when you do your etheric work, what do you concentrate on?
Clearing work, mainly parasites.
And how do you go about it?
Sometimes I clear it, physically moving my hands, sometimes just energetically. Other times I just use technology if I'm too tired. So I create technology, clear my field, and I destroy it.
Understood. Do you know something called a middle pillar exercise?
No.
But you're familiar with the concept of spinal alignment, yes? You understand that concept?
Yes.
Do you know the concept of spinal alignment when it is used in Kundalini Yoga?
I stay away from Kundalini Yoga.
I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is.
Could have nothing to do with energy vampires. It is because of energy vampires.
Okay. One of the exercises that is actually, well, let's forget about Kundalini Yoga, Swarupa Yoga then. Okay?
Okay.
All right. You want to balance energies, but you also want to maintain an energy status that takes you off of the radar of people who would like to feed off of you. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think people would want to feed off of you, Shireen?
I think
be blunt.
it's breaking. Because I'm breaking old patterns, I'm not as supportive, I'm not constantly available, I'm involved in, my own life, and that's unacceptable to the people who were with me before. So yeah, the change is difficult, and I'm as compassionate as possible, but I am firm. But clearly that's not enough. If my energy field is full of holes.
So let me ask you, are you attempting to tread the path of the sannyas?
No.
Because
I'm not cut out to live in a forest.
Yes, but the essence of it, are you alone, Shireen?
I'm alone, but it's mostly because of my mental health. With everything else on my plate, it's difficult for me to maintain relationships in general, even friendships, anything. It's difficult for me. So it's really that.
Well, there are two things that I can tell you right now. You need to create an energy field that is impenetrable, and the way you're going to have to do it is get back into your practice. That's the first thing. That is the first and foremost thing. The second thing, if you're doing etheric work, you're going to have to get your chakras involved. And in this case, you're going to have to activate the chakra that involves discernment. Which chakra is that? Yoga pop quiz for you.
Heart chakra.
Yes, but that's one kind of discernment. What is the other chakra that is involved in the discernment of things?
Third eye.
That is correct. Pineal, Ajna, Anahata, Najna chakra. You're going to have to work within these spaces, as our friend here, Catherine Leah, was trying to hint to you. You're going to have to work within these spaces, and you're going to have to try to create this energy field. Now, my suggestion, which you may not want to take, is that your sexual energy is going to be a little off kilter the way you are now operating. Do you understand that?
No.
Yes.
What do you mean off kilter?
Andrew, you want to jump in here? Okay, let me explain. No, I will explain. Okay. You are in a space where you are for want of a better word, not really following the path of sannyas, but you are on that kind of path. Okay?
Okay.
You have difficulty maintaining relationships, and you have relationship issues between male and female in your own body as well, I can pretty much gather. Okay?
Okay.
Your sexual energies is a very important part, because the reason I could probably ask you why you stay away from Kundalini Yoga, I could only imagine, but you might want to go to the places that you don't want to go, if you understand what I'm saying to you. Now,
sure.
right? So part of the energy, when you're talking about Hatha Yoga and you're talking about energies, you're talking about two major energies that run in your body. One is prana, as you well know. Okay? And the other one is that really aggressive energy that runs through your system, which you would like to stay away from. Well, I would suggest that you go to that aggressive energy that runs through your system, right, and activate it. Okay?
Okay, sure. That sounds good.
Actually, you should. You should. Because when you activate it, then you're not in a passive way. You're not like a cow on a field, because that's what people who see you as, right? You may be pretty, you may not be pretty, but if I am an energy vampire, I'm going to clue in on what's happening inside of you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And I'm going to want to feed on you. But part of what's happening inside of you also has to do with the fact that you're outputting, you're broadcasting, right? And they would like to harvest some of that energy off of you, and they would like to feed on you. So may I make a suggestion to you?
Yes.
Go inside that energy space, okay? That sexual energy as well.
Okay.
Get it together, harness it, and make it, instead of just being there like a cow, like extra meat and beef on you, right? Turn it into something where people don't see you as the kitten, they see you as the tigress instead.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting. That sounds difficult to do, but let's see how that goes.
No, it's not difficult to do, but you could try. There's nothing else to trying. Try it and then email us and let us know how it goes.
Sure.
All right.
Sure, Dave. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could I ask one question before we leave?
Sure. Go ahead.
What sort of potential am I aligned with respect? I think I heard Andrew once use the word singularity. I'm not sure, where he says he can tell how close one is to the potential with respect to that. So where am I with respect to that?
Well, I'll let Andrew answer that one. Go ahead.
You say this question again?
I heard you in an old video talk about the fact that you can see where a person's potential is with respect to singularity. I think I heard you use singularity, but I'm not sure. So where is my potential with respect to that? And how can I level up there as well?
You got to confront your sexuality.
That's
right now you're living large and in charge in the duality. And to be a singularity, it's both are equally layered over each other with a different layer of experience. One day you're the duality and one day you're the singularity. And right now, until you really take reins and control of your sexual energies and how you spend them, you use a lot of your sexual energy at your job without even wearing it, not knowing it, which you shouldn't. Okay, and unfortunately, you are using your very potent energy on things that you shouldn't. And then when you want to have relationships, you don't have that potent energy there. To be a singularity means you must be equal to your level of awareness. Responsibility is equal to your level of awareness. So right now you are demanding on your own journey that I want more awareness. But your body is saying you can only be equal to your level of your responsibilities, equal to your level of awareness. Is how much energies are going to flow through you. And then the energy also you're giving away in unawareness.
Okay.
So it's about owning your responsibility equal to where you're at now.
Okay.
You said daily practice, daily practice, daily practice, daily practice. And after a while, daily practice becomes weekly practice becomes monthly practice. And every now and then our monthly practice has these great hindsight moments where you look back at many months of daily practice and go, wow, I learned something. And then monthly practice becomes yearly practice, and yearly practice becomes decade practice. And then you have single moments of extreme hindsight, which allows you foresight into the journey of how much more aware do I really want to be of my environment and surroundings. And right now, there's an overachiever in you who has been demanding awareness, demanding awareness, demanding awareness, demanding awareness. Got to be a 4.5 spiritual GPA. Guess what? No one gets a 4.5 spiritual GPA. Overachiever is your self-defeating journey, right? Is your self-defeater process right now.
So I need to calm down.
More than calm down, it's literally realize you've adrenalized your learning.
Yes.
You're in the adrenal gland, you're not in spirit. In the body. And the body has a different journey than allowing the equal co-creation with spirit. So to be the singularity is the body's in alignment with the spirit. That's the singularity.
Okay.
All the different colors and natures of the experience flow through you without resistance.
Sure. Yes, that sounds good. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, David. And thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. All right, we're going to go on our break. Robert, let's kick in the break and we'll be back in about 8 to 10 minutes.
That is correct, about 10 minutes.
Baby Steps for Adults online counseling program. Do you want more out of life? Are you or your loved ones facing personal challenges which threaten your peace of mind? Would you like to break the cycle of negativity? We can help. With online programs in alcohol abuse, drug addiction, sexual abuse, anger management and communication, as well as codependency and relationships. We have trained professionals working in the field of addiction and counseling. Access to one-on-one counseling with professionals at reduced rates. Online continuing support and retreat options. Join us today.
Baby Steps for Adults, Drug Abuse. What is drug addiction? Am I an addict? Who does drug addiction really harm? They can hurt your sense of judgment, decision-making, memory, and ability to learn. They can hurt your loved ones and so many others around you. Drug addiction is a disease which can be cured. Our Baby Steps program can provide the information you and your family need to overcome this illness. Online access to professionals working in the field of addiction, webinars and group counseling for those battling this addiction, full instruction to help you first understand this disease and how to cope with it, Join us today. We're here to help. Baby steps for adults, codependency. I can't live with or without you. I just want to look good for you. I would do anything for you. All popular words to famous songs. But guess what? They all indicate someone in a codependent relationship. Codependency is an addiction to another human being. You will see a strong relationship between codependency and negative physical side effects, which can manifest in violence towards your spouse or partner. If you're in a codependent relationship, you may need help. Join us today and free yourself from this addiction. Baby steps for adults, sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is a real problem in our societies. Every year, thousands of children are abused. These children constitute the most vulnerable members of our society. However, sexual abuse is also a real problem among our adult population. It can be violent and unwanted within family groups, as well as extreme harassment at the workplace. We can help. With online access to trained professionals working with victims of abuse and sexual assault, webinars and group counseling for those suffering from the trauma and struggling to make sense of their lives, full instruction to help you overcome the trauma and how to detect and assist other victims. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Join us today. Baby steps for adults, communication. Hey there. Are you reading this? Do you understand me? Oh, great. Then we're communicating. So what is good communication? Expressing exactly how you feel. Being personal and one-on-one. A simple touch or gesture of love. And what is poor communication? Screaming and shouting. Belittling others. Violence or verbal abuse. Would you like to learn to be an effective communicator? Join us today. Oh, bye now.
Welcome back, everyone. All righty, we're just waiting for David to pop in. All right, everyone, we are back from our break. I seem to have had some technical issues on my computer here as everything crashed in the background, and we have to go back to the good old built-in webcam built into the computer. All right, David, Catherine, welcome back to the show. That was a really fun caller that we just had. So any thoughts that you guys want to talk about from our first hour before we take our next caller?
Catherine, I'll let you go ahead.
Oh, any thoughts? Oh, this is really fun to connect with your audience today. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Great. All right, Robert, let's spin that wheel of callers and see who's the next person, if they're even back yet.
Okay, Gabe, you are now unmuted with the gang.
Gabe, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Vail, California.
Vail, California. Welcome to the show. What questions did you have for us today?
Well, kind of going along the same theme of what Katherine had presented as far as working with healers. I recently had started a healing path myself, along with the suggestions that you make with as far as healing being a process, not an event. And I've had a hard time getting to the point of actually working with healers, just because I seem to have an aversion to people touching me. But the funny thing is, when I actually get in front of a healer, I'm not opposed to it. But a lot of interesting things have come out of that, particularly with parasites being attached. So an energy healer did some work. She removed some entities. She referred me to a shaman, and then he said that he sensed the energy healer sensed fear in me, and then the shaman sensed unworthiness and anger. And he said he was able to offer one of the entities to go to the light, which it did. But then we really didn't get into the second aspect of the other entity. But he did say he wants to work with me some more. But obviously, after doing the healing, we need time to process the healing. And that's kind of the phase that I'm in. And so any suggestions that you folks can make, I'm open to. And I'm really very grateful for everything that you guys offer to the community.
I run into a lot of people who don't use energy healers, and many of them are healers themselves. A couple of weeks ago, we had a caller. The lady's been a healer for 17 years, and it's been 16 years since she let anyone else do a healing on her.
Well, I guess I should get a little deeper in saying, and I guess a fair warning to the audience, this is going to get a little dark. I'm a survivor of 2 suicide attempts that I can recall. The most recent being a strangulation where I hung myself. I survived that. And medical physician couldn't understand. I'm a big guy. I'm about 300 pounds, 6'2". He didn't understand how my neck didn't snap. And that really is what sent me on the trajectory to this aspect of knowingness. And there's various synchronicities that led me to you. And I've been a follower since about 2013, and just kind of trying to work through this process. And I just have this deep feeling of not liking it, not like being here. I don't like this whole scenario. And ever since I was a kid, I could just remember having images. I have a family crest, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. Late in life, my father said that he had come to the realization his mother had terminated her life in front of him. So I don't know if that's the baggage that I'm carrying. I'm just really trying to traverse through this, and I could understand so the whole reason I went to see the energy healer. She's a chiropractor, an energy healer, and she does craniosacral. So through your recommendations, because ever since I had that strangulation, I've been clenching my jaws to the point that the dentist said, "Hey, your molars are pretty much shot. They have stress cracks in them. They're flattened." So I use a mouth guard now when I sleep. In a recent trip last year, I forgot to take my mouth guard with me, and I actually grinded off the front part of my 2 front teeth. And that's when I knew. I said, okay, something I have to change something here, because this isn't working. And so I went for craniosacral. And while I was there, she kind of just said, hey, I do this energy healing. And so I guess the odd part was that I could hear when she put her hands over my head, I could actually hear like a zoom kind of a noise, and I could feel the energy shooting from my spine off to the right, then to the left, and I could feel it expanded and then compressed back into me. So she referred me to some readings regarding empathics, survival guides. So that's kind of where I'm at, guys. I guess that's more pertinent.
You're at a state where you've begun the healing, and it's a process, not an event.
Yeah.
Part of the process is self-education and continuing self-education. So whenever we have sins of the father, sins of the mother, sins of the child, that's an ancestral journey. Now, what was your childhood like?
A lot of physical abuse and verbal abuse. I think that's where I get that unworthiness complex from. I never fit into my family. I'm like the black sheep. When I talk to people, they don't think I was a bad kid, but my parents thought I was a bad kid. I just thought I was a very active kid compared to the rest of my siblings.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a lot of nightmares as a kid?
No, I can say that things that have been recently exposed to me, that most people dream in black and white, I dream in color most of my life. And then I remember as a kid being able to come out of dreams and be like, oh, that's cool, and then jump back in and continue right where I left off from.
So answer the question about nightmares. Do you remember nightmares or not?
I remember seeing images, but I was raised Catholic, and my mom always put the fear of like demons and the devil in me. So I remember seeing like devil dancing on my bed. I had an incredible aversion to the closet. I felt that monsters came out of the closet or from underneath my bed. So I would say, yeah, to some degree. And I could say now recently, what also kind of motivated me to do something is I've been waking up either in a heavy sweat or like drenched in sweat, to the point that like the sheets are just soaked in sweat, and I don't really know what's going on. I've tried the salt and silver and sage behind my neck and my tailbone, and it kind of fades in and out as far as remembering my dreams.
So whenever you have heavy sweating and you're not really remembering your dreams, you're going through a form of night terrors.
I remember having issues with succubus in my 20s.
You're also grinding your teeth so bad. That means there's a significant internal issue going inside yourself, which is self-mutilation, that you really haven't come to the terms of self-mutilation. And I want to bring David in here real quick to talk about the suicide journeys before we bring Katherine in, to maybe do a clearing on you so you can see a different layer and perspective here.
Okay.
I think there's a lot more abuse that you have not acknowledged.
Okay. So let's start with a little bit of an exercise here. What is the abuse that you can remember?
Well, spanking with a belt. I remember there was one 4th of July where I was playing with a little sparkler and I chased the neighbor girl, and I ended up getting some of the sparkles on her, and my father thought that the justification for that was to get a knife and burn it on the stove and then burn me underneath the chin so that I could see it every day and remember.
Is the
I
mark
remember
still there?
No, it's not there. I recall being hit over the head with a knuckle just because I would talk or laugh during dinner. I was told to be quiet. Being forced to kneel on either bricks, or sometimes they would lay beams on the floor and I'd have to kneel, but not with my butt on the floor, like my butt erect. Mm-hmm. Being forced to like kitchen table, put your head underneath the table and your hands on top of the table without bending your knees. It all culminated, I think, when I was around 12 or 13, when my father spanked me. And it would get to the point where, because I was becoming tolerant, where he'd make me remove my garment. And when I didn't react, and I told him it's because I feel dead on the outside. I don't feel it anymore. I remember being told, taken to a park and told, this is an orphanage. If you don't behave, we're going to leave you here. Those are the things that I recall. And I think probably the worst one where it made me feel that my unworthiness was my mother strangling me to the point where, I was starting to black out. And that's when I just thought, wow, this lady really doesn't love me. And one time she threw, when I grew up, there wasn't a lot of money. So we used to hedge the grass with it's like this rotating spike, like manually oscillate. And one time she flung that at me, and it was the same thought. I'm just like, wow, if that thing would have hit me, I would have been a goner. And so, those are the things that I recall. And I could say with these times that are changing and my energies that are coming in, more and more of this has been coming up, which is understandable because these are things that we have to deal with, right?
Do you think that people hate you? Do you think that they hated you?
Yeah, I mean, I felt unwanted. And I was told that I was not a planned birth. You know, that's something that the heavy that my father dropped on me and my brother. He just said, you guys were accidents. And so that kind of, you know, that scars deep. Because you just feel like you're a walking mistake.
Gabe, when you think about these things, and I want you to think about them now, what kind of pain are you feeling?
That I don't want to be here. Nobody wants me here. Why do I have to be here? What's the point of it?
Do you think nobody wants you to be here just because your parents did not want you to be here?
No, I mean, as an adult, my partner that I'm with now, she stepped out on me. And so that was just, you know, another acknowledgement of you're not enough. You don't complete the package. And that really was what triggered the last suicide attempt, where I was just kind of like, you know what? If you're not happy with me, nobody's happy with me, then what the hell am I doing here? And I guess that's the scary part, is that we all have an internal voice. And my internal voice turned on me, and it pumped me up. It called me a coward. I told myself I couldn't do it. I couldn't do anything right. I couldn't even do this right. And that was the scary thing, because our internal voice is supposed to guide us. You know, like, so how do you work through things when you're supposed to trust your internal voice, but your internal voice is a traitor to you?
What was your internal voice telling you?
That I was a failure, and that I couldn't even get that right.
Do you think that was your higher self telling you that you're a failure?
No, because
Dave, have you even asked your higher self what it thinks? Have you ever asked?
Not in those specific terms, no.
Gabe, can you even talk to your higher self at all?
I don't know that I hear anything back. Every time that I start to have some type of a mystical experience, I kind of cower out of it.
Why do you cower out of it?
Because I'm not sure if what's coming in is gonna be of good intent.
I think you're tired of pain.
Most definitely.
I think you're tired of pain, and you're tired of suffering. But I want you to see the irony in what you're saying here, because you're not afraid of killing yourself, but you're afraid of mystical experience. Do you understand?
I can say, yeah, I can say I've had one wonderful mystical experience, and that's, again, through this series of synchronicities I got exposed to. And I know you're opposed to New Age religion, but it was the Urantia book. And when I read that book towards the end, all I walked away from of it, because I had to drop the book to take a shower to do something with my daughter, was love, supreme love that source has for us.
Gabe?
Yes.
Thank you for speaking to me. Do you think your daughter wants you here?
Yeah, she's very like-minded. She's one of the few people that syncs up with me.
Do you think she loves you?
Most definitely.
So one person definitely wants you here. Am I correct?
Correct.
So it's not everyone doesn't want you here. Let me tell you a little bit of a story, Gabe. Your parents and the evil that they visited upon you is part of the processes that you have to go through. Okay? You have a chance not to pass this on to your little girl. You have an opportunity, and you have a chance not to pass it on. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you ever thought of hitting your little girl or abusing your little girl?
No, I'm averted to it.
You have a complete aversion to it, am I correct?
Yes.
Which is why she loves you, am I correct?
Yes.
So you have actually risen above your pain for your little girl.
Correct.
Why can't you rise above your pain for yourself?
I'd say it's that feeling of unworthiness.
You're unworthy? Is your little girl cute, Gabe?
Yes.
Very cute?
I think so, in my eyes.
When she looks at you, she doesn't see unworthiness. Do you understand that?
I do.
Gabe, have you been reading the chat here?
No,
Okay,
no, I'm in my head right now.
okay. Maybe you should, because people who don't know you from anywhere seem to think you're worthy. I certainly think you're worthy. And there's no one on the show who doesn't think you're worthy. Because honestly speaking, let me show you something that most people who have been through what you have been through would not have called on the show, and they would not still be functioning. They would be in an asylum by now. Okay? But you are still functioning. And if it is that you have not passed on this sort of evil, because it's a kind of evil, to your little girl, you are definitely worth something, because most people just pass it on. Okay? They just pass it on. So your little girl is lucky. Do not leave your little girl out here alone. You already know how bad this world is.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave her out here. You don't. You really don't. Okay? Because she's going to be looking for you. Okay?
Yeah.
And you not being there, whether you leave or whatever else, it's going to hurt her. Do not pass on evil from generation to generation, including suicidal tendencies. Don't pass it on. Because then she's going to say, what she's going to be saying is the following: I guess I'm worthless. My daddy left me. Do you really want that?
No, that just hit home so hard.
Yeah, it should. Because she's going to feel worthless if you leave her. Gabe, do not kill yourself. You have a lot to offer this world just from experience alone. Everybody who's listening to you right now would have learned something in the last 4 minutes. They have learned that you can rise above yourself when it is that you have to care for somebody apart from yourself. Okay? And that in and of itself makes you worth something by itself. Don't leave your little girl out here. Do not pass on feelings of worthlessness to your little girl. Really, don't do it. Okay? You see, the person who stepped out on you, that's just life. Your parents, horrible. Okay? Horrible. Each one of us have somehow experienced some sort of trauma from our parents in knowingness and unknowingness. It would seem that a lot of your trauma was experienced in knowingness. And honestly, Gabe, it's because people themselves were traumatized and they pass it on. Don't be that guy. Be better than that. But I understand that your pain is deep. Okay? And I'm gonna call Katherine inside here. Katherine, I want you to help Gabe with his trauma, please. Can you do that?
Yes. Gabe, can you put your hand on your heart? Put your hand on your beautiful heart. And I want you to breathe into your beautiful heart. Let's do that together. Let's breathe into our hearts. And release everything that's not serving you. Just release it. And let's breathe in together again. Let's breathe into our beautiful hearts. And release everything that's not serving you. And let's breathe in this time, and we're going to hold it. So breathe into your beautiful heart. And hold it. And bring it into your fingers and toes, fingers and toes, fingers and toes, fingers and toes. And release all of what's there. And I just want you to feel into your heart. And what are you sensing?
I sense the pulse.
Say that again.
I sense the pulse of my heart.
Yes, the pulse of your heart. Yes, there's a tenderness here that is calling you to get in touch with, and it's bringing your life into a simplicity now. Okay, so it's calling you to simplify and keep bringing this tenderness into your heart space. Okay, connect with your daughter, go out in nature, those kinds of things. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and And just knowing that it takes the responsibilities to just really own your beauty and your magnificence. Would you be willing to breathe that in right now and be responsible for your beauty and your magnificence? Because I certainly can see it. I mean, it's
Most
just,
definitely.
yeah, so let's breathe that in. And breathe it out. What are you feeling right now?
Ease. I had to work myself up, so I feel at ease.
Yes. Beautiful. That peace and that heartbeat. Can you just feel into that space you just created for yourself?
Yes.
Yes. Beautiful. And can you feel the energy that's coming in to support you right now from the universe?
Lightly, but yes.
Yes. And just it's like a relaxation. So it's being in your heart space, calming the mind, and just allowing more of this divine energy to come in and start to teach you. Okay, this is divine energy that's come in to your heart space. Yes, and I want you to plan something with your daughter, something that you can laugh and have fun and visualize it beforehand. Okay, visualize
Okay.
it, put it out there, because there's something very, very beautiful here that's going on. Something very extraordinary, and I want you to ground that. I want you to go out in nature and really ground and commune with nature. That's what I'm getting right now. So you are a master, and you're waking up, and I want you to honor that and know that we need you here. You're part of the puzzle piece. We need you here.
I would also like, Gabe, I would also like to say something to you. You are in that space that you are right now is a space that you can change around for the most intensive healing and awakening that you could possibly imagine. The next time you're having a spiritual experience, a mystical experience, please do not chicken out. You might learn a lot more, because this outside awareness that you are living in right now, that's what's giving you the illusion that you are worthless. You need to get inside yourself. You need to get inside yourself. What Katherine said to you, plan something with your daughter. You need to see the beauty in the world, not just the horror. Because if you're just living in the cerebral functions of your head, remembering the horror that has happened to you, all that is going to happen is that you're going to be tortured again and again, reliving it. The woman that hurt you, your parents, these people are there to make you either stronger or break you. Okay? You are 6'5" and how many pounds?
300.
Then you probably need to stand like the mountain that you are. You do. You need to stand, and you need to stand in such a way that you show the world that you are not only worthy, you are strong enough to get past the pain that you've gone through, because you've been tortured. You have. So I guess the challenge to you is, can you stand? Can you look at that little girl and show her that nothing can break you? Can you do that?
I can. I feel that I am, but I know I'm encountering resistance. Almost every time that I try to read the documents that the shaman gave me, the book that I was given by the craniosacotherapist, I can't read more than 5 or 10 minutes and I'm just out like a light. And something's keeping me from expanding, from growing.
This energy that is in your heart space, are you feeling the expansion of that?
Very faintly, I could feel.
Okay, it's popped into your head. So just put your hand on your heart, okay? And we're going to take those 3 breaths again. So breathe into your heart space, your beautiful heart. And release everything that's here. No longer serving you. And then we're going to breathe in, and this time you're going to hold it again. So we're going to breathe in, and we're going up to these beautiful realms that are just full of love that you are. So we're going to breathe in this love that you are. So let's breathe it in and hold it. Fill up your fingers and toes, 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 and release everything that's not serving you. And breathe into that beautiful heart of yours. Breathe in this beautiful energy that's all around you. And release. Can you feel your feet on the ground and feel yourself expand?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. This is what I want you to practice, okay? Because it only takes 3 breaths to get you back.
Okay.
Yes, and I just want you to know you are so amazingly powerful and magical, and you just need to really commune with the earth and really plant yourself on the earth and take up space, because we need you. You're part of the puzzle piece. We need you to know who you really are, because you are magnificent and extraordinary. So just know that, and be in nature and allow nature to show you.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Show today.
Catherine, can you tune into his jaw and his teeth? He talked about extreme teeth grinding. So we've got some really powerfully built up stuff there. And if you could just tap into the medical intuition side to help him understand what's going on there.
I'm just never enough is what I'm hearing. You're holding on to this. I'm just never enough, and it's old. It's you've carried this long enough, many lifetimes. Are you willing to let that go right now?
More than willing.
Yeah. So just breathe in this beautiful energy that you are culminating, and just let that go. Replace it with your love. How does that feel?
Free.
Say that again.
Freeing. I feel like shackles being taken off.
Yes, yes. So it's important for you to connect with Mother Gaia and allow her to bring you the energy that is needed, the feminine energy, the power of her healing. Okay, and allow it to come up, like just be receptive to her and just keep expanding in this. And when you find yourself kind of in your head again, running around, just bring yourself back. It only takes 3 breaths. Give that to you, that love that you are, back to yourself, and connect with Mother Nature, because she wants to teach you who you really are. Because what you've been thinking you are, you're so much more than that. And the universe needs you right now. We need you on Earth to really, really take up space. And love that little girl that you have. And do fun things. Because nothing else matters but you loving on you. And then that way you show up 100% for that little girl that really loves her dad. How does that feel?
Enlightening.
Well, you are that being. You just kind of got caught up with the lies, and now you know your truth, because you are quite magical. And so just keep grounding in, because you're gonna, in this receptive mode, which is the feminine energy that I want you to cultivate, leaning back and allowing this feminine energy to come in and have its way with you, and listen and love. And love on that beautiful child that you brought into this world. And do fun things. How does that feel?
Energizing.
Beautiful. Now this is where you get to play now. Yeah, you're remembering. You just kind of forgot, that's all. You just kind of forgot who you really are. Feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you deserve to feel good. Is there any other energy there that needs your attention?
I was told by the cranial sacral therapist that my tailbone was tucked in. She did some work with that, but I know she said it was something that was gonna take some time.
Just breathe and run this energy like up through your tailbone from the earth. And just run it up and around, up and around.
Oh, that's strong.
Yeah, another guy will take care of you. And open up your heart space a little bit more, like let this love in, because you're just so deserving of this love. This is you. This is you that you're feeling. This is how beautiful you are. This is how much we need you to know who you really are and ground this in. Connect to the earth and allow her to show you who you really are just by being in the receptive mode. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I felt the surge when you said it was me.
Yes. Yes. So this is a practice. You deserve to love on yourself this way. You deserve to receive the love from the universe. You deserve to know who you really are. And your little girl deserves to have you in her life. So powerful. I mean, you really are a powerful being. I mean, can you feel that?
Just now, yeah.
Wow.
I feel this vibration all over.
Yeah. Yeah, it just keeps getting stronger and stronger. So this is how you'll just keep grounding this in and allowing it in and receiving. So you're receiving this love and you're learning from it, because it's life force energy. It's totally amazing. And sinking in here, can you feel that energy? That's you. That's your beautiful, unique essence that we need here on this earth right now to know who you are, so that you open up and ground into the center of the earth and allow her to feed you her energy. Nature will teach you a lot. Wow, I can really feel that surge.
Oh, it's even making my legs twitch a little.
Yeah, like I'm releasing right now. I'm just allowing it to happen. You're helping me heal. And just open up your heart and let your heart guide you. Let your heart guide you and your soul. Ooh, you're helping me heal right now. And probably a whole lot of other people too. Thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yes. Ooh, so it's simple. It's getting back to the simplicity, and it's your heart space that's going to guide you, and it's you connecting to the earth and allowing the earth to teach you what's next and what's next and what's next. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And do some fun things with your daughter so you're laughing. Really start to see the beauty and the magic in this world and that you're a part of. And start to allow yourself to be in the abundance that is you. Allow yourself to really just open up to that beautiful energy that you are. And see, like, I'm getting to know a part of me that I didn't really know before. You're helping me open up and going, wow, okay, it's healing me. So do you understand how important you are right now? Like never before on earth, we're all waking up. It's the heart that's going to shift this world into
That's what.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I'm working toward.
Yes. Well, just fall in, and just allow the feminine energy to come in and start to balance you. Okay.
Okay.
Allow her to guide you. Yes. Yeah. It's just extraordinary, beautiful energy that you hold. It's beautiful. And we need the masculine energy to hold the space for what's happening right now. So balance out with the feminine and just really allow that to guide you and expand you and love on you. Exactly. Teaching you who you really are. It's time for us all to wake up to who we really are. The world needs us to really take a stand on this earth, our feet, walking this earth as beautiful beings of love and light that are grounded and open to receiving the gifts that they are. So you can
the hardest thing is I've always had a very strong heartbeat. Even my mother would say that when she was pregnant, the doctors thought that she might be pregnant with twins. And right now, I just felt my heart has just, it's slowed down. It's not as pronounced as it was before.
Yes, and that's the key, is to allow yourself to ground in so that you can open up and receive how beautiful you are. And your heart needs to show you the way, and it's getting past the sweet little mind, it's just a little puppy dog, just needs to feel safe and loved, right? And it's you taking responsibility and control right now. You're taking back your power right now.
Yes, I am.
We all kind of gave it away for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But now, no, not anymore. There's a call. There's a calling for us all to step in our power. And it's our heart space that's going to teach us. And it's our beautiful little mind that we need to say, hey, it's safe and you're loved. And come on, let's tuck you right into my beautiful heart space. And you follow along because I'm in charge now. And we're gonna do this together. We're going to be this together. Can you feel the relief in that?
Most definitely.
And you only need to know the next step, and the next step will always be revealed from this space. Always. Can you feel like the ease in that?
Yes.
Can you feel like, okay, ease and grace, come on in, like call it in, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt a little bit of tension now, but I'm really seeing it.
Yeah, and that's okay. Breathe through where the tension is. Bring that ease and grace into the tension. And just allow it to happen. Wow, I can just feel all this tingling in my hands and feet, like just such an enlivening that's happening in me, like something that's really waking up because you're waking up. I can feel it. Yeah, like a beautiful healing. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I'm sure that
I
there's
thank
lots
you.
of people on this call that are feeling this too. So thank you for being the master that you are and for choosing to be here at this time, this magnificent time for us to all wake up and really be who we came here to be and share our gifts and love. And at first we've got to give it to ourselves. And that's where you're at. And that's my wish for you, that you love on yourself and put yourself first and receive this love that is you. And really allow the earth to show you the way. Allow the beauty and the abundance to show you that that's who you are. That's who you really are. The abundance of the universe is really you. Yeah. How are you feeling?
I'm actually giggling right now. I don't know why.
Ah, yes, yes.
Well, that is the top of the hour bell. Oh my God, that was such an amazing journey you did with Gabe. Gabe, thank you so much for calling in. Why don't you call back in and tell us how you're doing, brother? All right.
I will. Thank you. Peace be upon all of you.
Peace on to you too. All right, everyone. This has been a special show. Katherine, thank you so much for showing on. Do you want to give people a way to get a hold of you?
Sure. So you can go to my website at www.katherineleah, so it's KATHERINELIA.com, and reach out to me. I have a special session for you. Just a connection. Let's just connect. Okay. And so yes, let's connect and start the communication going, because you are a divine being of love and light, and that's who you've always been. You just forgot. And I'm going to help you remember who you really are. Thank you so much.
David, any last words you want to share?
The last words. Yeah, no, I'm good. We will see you guys next week.
All right, everyone, if you're interested in having any form of private sessions with me or coaching, because we are coming up to the Halloween season, for those of you that want to kick up your magical practice, your daily practice, contact MPA at Galactic Historian. We've got a special running where you can get some of our special courses, as well as a built-in session for one low price. Check your email out. All right, everyone, we'll catch you back this coming Tuesday.
Namaste, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.